No one likes to lose. I'd imagine if you were a superhero, you really wouldn't like to lose either, since it's more than just your ego or your pride on the line. It's usually the lives of innocent civilians and the greater good that's on the line, and effing that up definitely isn't much fun. So today we're mulling over that sad fate even further with our list of the top 10 superheroes who lost, Part 2, since y'all requested it so much. Also be sure to stick around to the end, because some of these numbers were actually plucked from suggestions that you guys left in the comments, so there's a few shoutouts you might not want to miss. Also, heads up friends, there's some mega spoilers for some iconic comics on this list, and we do talk a little bit about the MCU from Infinity War onwards, so you've been warned. Alright, now with that in mind, let's get to the list. Starting us off in at number 10, Thor losing to Beta Ray Bill. Let's start off our list with a defeat that was suggested to us by user Peter Tyson. That time that Beta Ray Bill whooped Thor's butt. And it was all just a misunderstanding, embarrassingly enough. Beta Ray Bill, who first appeared in the Mighty Thor issue 337 back in 1983, was depicted as a monster who turned out to be a hero. He was the first character introduced outside of the Norse-themed mythology of characters that had proven to be worthy to lift Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. But let's backtrack for a sec. So, Thor was sent on a mission by S.H.I.E.L.D. to go investigate an alien fleet that was passing through Earth's galaxy. Now when Thor finds the ship, he perceives it as a threat, and the ship spits Beta Ray Bill out of it to fight Thor. Now thanks to a silly hang-up that Mjolnir used to have, Thor would turn back to his normal persona if he was separated from the hammer for more than 60 seconds. It's silly, we know. Bill was able to defeat him, and eventually it became obvious that the whole thing was just one big misunderstanding. But it was still pretty embarrassing for Thor. Now Thor would get Mjolnir back, and as a consolation, Bill was gifted Stormbreaker, the weapon that Thor actually helped craft in Avengers Infinity War in the MCU, although it has a very different origin in the comics. You'll find it. I trust in you. The power of Google is strong. Moving on to number 9, US agent loses his arm and leg. Now there's a lot of instances where superheroes have lost a leg or a limb or a body part when defeated. Fighting crime is risky business, friends. Even US Agent, the mean dollar store version of Captain America, has gone maimed in combat. US Agent, aka John Walker, was one of the heroes who tried to combat Norman Osborn during the Siege event. And in Mighty Avengers issue 36, he tried to stop the Thunderbolts from stealing Odin's spear for Osborn. That did not go too well for Walker. The character Nuke managed to get his hands on the weapon first, and then proceeded to use it to chop off Walker's left arm and left leg. In the aftermath, Walker refused to use prosthetic limbs and preferred to move around in a wheelchair, although he would eventually somehow be healed. Still counts as a major defeat though. Up next at 8, Captain Marvel beating Iron Man into a coma. This one actually comes as a suggestion from Black Phoenix 77. That time that Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, beat Iron Man into a coma. Now in 2016, Civil War II came to fruition. Similar to its predecessor, it saw the superpowered individuals on Earth facing off against each other thanks to a clashing of opinions and perspectives. Rather than Captain America versus Iron Man though, it was Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers versus Tony this time around. It all went down when an inhuman named Ulysses showed up with a power to perceive the future. Carol thinks it should be used to prevent crime, whereas Tony is all for free will. The story concluded with Carol and Tony duking it out in Washington DC, and Carol essentially beat him into a coma in the process. Tony would disappear from the Marvel universe for about 2 years, returning to his comic Invincible Iron Man in 2018. Speaking of Invincible, and at number 7, Invincible. No relation. Invincible is a series created by Robert Kirkman for Image Comics that ran from 2002 to 2003. It followed the son of a hero named Omni-Man, who was an alien from the Viltrumite race with super strength, invulnerability, enhanced healing, and flight. And he devoted himself to protecting Earth. His son is a hero named Invincible, who's got the same skill set as Daddy Dearest, but was having trouble adjusting to his newfound abilities. Now flash forward to later on in the story, where the narrative takes us to a story arc concerning the Viltrumite War. A villain by the name of Conquest challenges Invincible for control over Earth, and turns out, dude is way too powerful for our hero. They end up having a rematch of sorts, and Invincible decides he's going to go for the kill by strangling him. But Conquest outsmarts him, kind of. He punches a hole through Invincible's body and then just pulls out all of his intestines and other bodily bits. Now Invincible manages to hold on through all of that pain and strangles Conquest to death after all, but it takes him a whole 10 months to recover from his insides literally being pulled outside of his body. And yeah, it's a series of gruesome panels, that's for sure. So I guess it's like a defeat but with a silver lining? or a win with really crappy consequences? You can tell me in those comments below. Up next at number 6, Wolverine ripped in half. Man, poor Wolverine, he's suffered a lot of really brutal defeats, but this one in particular pertains to him and the Hulk. Now the Hulk and Wolverine have been rivals of sorts ever since Wolverine first hit the panels, when the brooding mutant debuted in Incredible Hulk issue 180 in 1974. Although they're both on the side of good, the two have butted heads a bunch over the years. So it makes sense that in the Ultimate Universe on Earth 1610 that we would see a different form of that rivalry emerge. Now for starters, the Ultimate Universe has a tendency to be more volatile than the 616 universe. Characters are significantly more crude, including the Hulk. Dude is pretty much a cannibal on this earth. Now, let's jump over to the Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk series, a 6-issue miniseries that has Logan sent to the Himalayas to assassinate Hulk for S.H.I.E.L.D. As you can tell from the title of our number, that did not go as planned. Issue 1 of the series literally begins with Wolverine dragging his upper half through the snow, looking for his lower half, which has gone missing because Hulk. We get to see more of the grisly details of their battle and the aftermath and what follows. But yeah, getting ripped in half definitely counts as a defeat, or at least in my books. To be fair, he was still mobile, but you know, missing the lower half of the body. That quality of life just goes downhill, you know? It's no bueno. If you have your lower half ripped off, you probably bleed out and die eventually. Moving on to number 5, Dying Wish. Big thanks to user Doug Rosengard for suggesting this one. Now, back in 2012, Marvel caused quite the stir with their Amazing Spider-Man issue 700 with a storyline titled Dying Wish. In it, Spider-Man was replaced with the Superior Spider-Man under some pretty intense and baffling circumstances. Now, leading up to this issue, we saw Otto Octavius, aka Doc Ock, come up with a terrible scheme to switch bodies with Peter Parker. He was practically on his deathbed and he managed to science his way into swapping with Parker, with Peter being forced into Otto's decaying body. Now that is a brutal way to be defeated, but after a whole lot of backlash and a complex storyline, Peter was eventually restored to his body. Yet Otto still managed to pull off this stunt for over a year, which to be fair did lead to some interesting character development, but still. Sometimes Peter just has it really rough, guys. In at 4, Batman beats Superman. The Dark Knight and the Man of Steel have fought numerous times over the years, but perhaps the most influential and iconic brawl of theirs comes at the hand of Frank Miller and his Dark Knight Returns series. It features an aging Bruce Wayne, who, seeing Gotham being tormented by a new gang of ultra-violent hoodlums, returns to his vigilante ways. Now eventually Superman is called in to intervene, a tool of the government's now, and Batman takes him on. He dons an exoskeleton suit with synthetic kryptonite and even has Green Arrow shoot the Man of Steel with a kryptonite arrow, of course. Now he pretty much has Clark defeated when he himself dies. It's then revealed that Bruce faked his own death, becoming a martyr of sorts and working with his resistance underground. Something that Clark eventually figures out on his own when he hears Bruce's heart still beating at his funeral. Now, sure, overall in the battle Clark held back a little, but Bruce could have definitely killed Superman if he wanted to. But he still managed to outsmart him, and most importantly, he made a point, which was kind of the purpose of the battle in the long run, really. It's still a pretty memorable defeat for the Man of Steel overall. Got your butt whooped by a mortal in an exoskeleton suit. He's just smarter than you cause you're Superman. And sometimes you're not bright. And at number 3, Kingdom Come. Now big shout out to user Kingdom Come Superman who dropped this suggestion in the comments of our part 1 video. Kingdom Come, a 4-issue series penned by Alex Ross and Mark Waid under the Elseworlds imprint, was released in 1996 to rave reviews. The story, a deconstructionist tale set in the future, follows the increasing conflict between traditional superheroes of the past and a new generation of metahumans taking their place. They're incredibly immoral and irresponsible, and some of them are even the children of previous heroes to boot. Major spoilers to follow if you have not read this / want to. In the end, see, spoilers, the United Nations ends up deploying 3 nuclear warheads against the metahuman threat. Batman and Wonder Woman manage to stop 2 of them, but the last one still blows up, except it does considerably less damage thanks to Captain Marvel Billy Batson. Now most of the metahumans are killed in this explosion and Superman ends up flying over to the UN, threatening to destroy it as a punishment for the massacre that they caused. Luckily he calms down and agrees to be an advisor for the UN in the future, but still, that's kind of a major loss. Metahuman massacre? Yeah. Bad. Speaking of massacres, and at number 2, The Infinity Gauntlet. In 1991, Jim Starlin penned a 6-issue limited series that put his creation Thanos in the forefront of a massive Marvel conflict that spanned the entire universe. Starlin had been gearing up to this with Thanos, who was hunting down the Infinity Gems previously in order to become omnipotent in the name of the entity Death, whom he loved. Now he was going to prove his love to her by eliminating half of all living beings in the universe. Which he did, and yes, he snapped to do it. That's where they got it from. But unlike the MCU MCU version, Thanos collected all of the gems, built himself a nifty little HQ in space, kidnapped his brother and his granddaughter Nebula, tortured them, and then had to deal with Adam Warlock gathering all the remaining superheroes who hadn't disappeared, along with a bunch of cosmic entities and other powerful beings to take him on in an epic onslaught. Thanos would crush them all though, and it wasn't until he let his guard down that Nebula managed to swipe the gauntlet from him, which eventually led to his temporary downfall. But regardless, that epic battle we mentioned, it resulted in some of the most brutal defeats. Vision had his insides yanked out. Cyclops, in beautiful irony, had his head stuck in an indestructible box as he was trying to use his optic blast, which incinerated his head. Wolverine's adamantium bones were turned into rubber, and Cap, well, Thanos just kinda bitch slapped him, so no one's really coming out of that one feeling good about themselves, are they? And finally, last but not least, in at number 1, the MCU Avengers Infinity War. Speaking of the Infinity Gauntlet, let's take a look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe adaptation of it, or rather the storyline that was largely informed by it, in Avengers Infinity War. For starters, fans of the comic and the films will already know this. The stories are not the same. Infinity War mainly adapts elements from the Infinity Gauntlet comic, and the big loss in that film that we're talking about at this number is basically a giant spoiler for the entire movie and played with the elements of the original. Instead of all of the heroes going after Thanos after he snapped, they all tried to stop him from getting the Infinity Stones and failed. Now Thanos snaps and bam, there goes half of all living things in the universe. It was a very bold choice for an ending as far as Marvel Studios was concerned. It was bleak, heart-wrenching, and also set up Marvel to make a crap ton of money with the film's follow-up Avengers Endgame. And in that film, well, let's just say there's a resolution, in case you're one of the only people on the planet who hasn't seen the movie. Alright, there we have it friends. What other major superhero losses can you think of? Give us a shout in those comments below and hey, maybe we'll do part 3. Thanks again to all of our viewers who made suggestions in the comments last time around, and especially thanks to the ones who made it into the part 2 list. In the meantime though, if you guys dug this video, please show us some love and hit that thumbs up button. And hey, if you haven't already, why not subscribe? We'd love it if you stuck around some more. Anywho, thanks for watching friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.